Alright, so it's part 3. Here we go. I'm, I'm feeling super bald right now. I mean, I'm feeling extra bald right now just because, I guess because I was listening to the Ari Shaffir podcast and he has an episode about balding. And I was like, I don't ever think about balding. I never think about balding. But then he's like, said in the episode, he's like, everyone who's balding or has any kind of hair loss thinks about it at least sometimes. And then I was like, oh, that's right. I do too, because the fucking blonde from last episode, or the blonde from one of the episodes, the blonde is dating a redhead. She's dating a ginger, but a full head of hair ginger. Like, he's got a beautiful head of hair. I mean, I'm not gonna like sit here and fucking lie about that. I mean, he's a handsome young guy. He looks way more her age. And it's like one of those things where you're like, see? Well, she should be with someone who has hair. And it's like such a stupid thought. Or maybe not. I don't know. It is. I mean, it's just... Ari's right. Ari Shaffir is right. Ari is right that you think about it sometimes. I thought about that. I was like, she likes gingers. You should have made your move. But maybe she only likes full head of hair gingers. Who knows? Who knows? Oh my god, my kitty just came down to see me. What's up, girl? Hi, pretty lady. Hi, pretty lady. Who's a pretty girl? Hey, sweetheart. Where you go? She's a real pretty girl. Fuck, what the fuck was I talking about? Goddamn cat. Maybe she doesn't like bald guys. Maybe she doesn't like bald gingers. It's just like that Woody Allen thing. He's like, I wouldn't want to be a part of a club that would have me as a member. That's insecurity. And I guess it's cool to think about it. Because I'm not really that insecure about being bald. I'm feeling less bald now. Even though I'm full on bald. I felt like I missed out on sound. I felt like I didn't say so. I was gonna say so. What the fuck? Should I edit the shit? I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. All right. Girls, the blonde. The blonde, Matilda. The teen. I don't know what I would call the girl that I was an asshole to. The teen, I guess. She was way more mature than me, so I shouldn't call her that. The blonde, I liked her. I like her. I don't know. I figured out what I want to do though with Orthodontist, because I've talked about her a lot and I figured it out. I want to go on a trip with you. Across the world, I want to go on a trip with her, and if she's single, I mean, I'm open to being in a relationship with her. But I also recently listened to the fucking Joe Rogan episode with Henry Rollins, and like Henry Rollins is just like a weirdo that's like, not in a bad way, but just like, he's totally like, yeah, this is just what I do. And I'm like, maybe I should just do that, and like, I don't know. So I'm open to trying with her because of how deeply I feel for her, but I'm also cool with like, I mean, I'm sure if something just crazy happened, but just seeing fucking Henry Rollins is like in his mid-50s, and he's just fucking, he's in his mid-50s, like 55, and he fucking just still grinds and still just makes albums, and it's just super inspiring. I was so fucking, I mean, it's just so cool to listen to it. It was so inspiring because he's just like so youthful in his mindset, and that's like what I want to retain. It's just like that, and just like he always puts out work, and that's what I want to do too. And it's just cool to like, I think because this album has taken so long, it's really been kind of a way down on me in a way that I haven't been able to release it very fast, where normally I would have released it by now. But like, that's way better. So you can see the top of my shirt. So the album just taking longer than normal, but it's at the same time, it's like, I mean, I just always have to think about that fucking Quentin Tarantino thing where he's like, I was right after he finished Kill Bill, and he said he was going to take a break, and she's like, don't do your fucking thing. He was talking to Francis Ford Coppola's wife, and she's like, no, don't, keep working, do it. And then he made fucking Inglourious Basterds, one of the best movies ever made. I mean, he's made a bunch of some of the best movies ever made. He's just great, obviously. But just to... And I also listened to episode 405 of the Joe Rogan podcast, and I only know it's called that because I looked it up recently, and I think it's a really great episode. It's the second time I've listened to it. I think it's really classic. It's about resistance. It's about pushing through resistance. It's about, they don't talk about Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind by Shunryu Suzuki. I'm sorry for the mispronunciation of that. But Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, which is just a great... Paul Schrader fucking was talking about it in a video, and it's just a great fucking book. I picked it up because Paul Schrader's awesome, obviously. So, I mean, fucking Taxi Driver is amazing. I love that fucking movie. So, his script, obviously, I mean, he's great. And I love his movies, too. I mean, I've seen some of his movies. I really should just fucking sit down and watch everything that he's done, because... he's a great filmmaker, and Richard Linklater got me into him. Anyway, we got me into him as a director. I was into him as a screenwriter, but Richard Linklater had like seminar, like has a thing on YouTube you can watch, and it's fucking amazing. He just talks about films, and he had a part where he's like highlighting pieces of the 80s. Speaking of which, I'm 8 minutes in. I haven't talked about The Flaming Lips. Let's get it together. All right, so fucking the setup. Me and my girlfriend have recently broken up. I drive to... I go fly to Arizona, where my mom lives. I fly to Casa Grande, where my mom lives. We drive to Missouri, but before that we drive to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it's fun, and it's a cool drive, and like going through Texas and everything. And if you're a bald white guy going through the South, like everyone's super nice to you. Like super nice to you. Like, how do you do? And you're like, I'm doing great. How are you, man? I mean, I don't know. Maybe people in the South are just nice, but I just like feel like when Mike, you know, if you're just they're so fucking nice, dude. Like for reals. Like that was my experience in like Texas and stuff. Was just like, holy shit. It was like Upper Texas. It was just like, holy shit, everyone's fucking nice as shit, you know. That was my experience, so I have to go on my experience of that. But it's also like cops are super nice to me too, because I don't know. One, I don't try to give cops, like I don't have attitude towards cops, because I don't need to, because I'm like from a middle class family, and also I just pay them respect. I just do. think that's like a shitty job to have to do. So cops like me, people in the South like me. Sometimes I worry, like, I want to be the white friend in a black group, because like that would just be the best. That would be awesome. Neil Brennan is that, and that's what I want to do. I'm kind of like that because I hang out with like a couple Filipino friends, and like, but there's always like another white guy, so it's like half white, half Filipino. But I would like to just be the white friend. Why did I bring that up? Why did I bring that up? I can't remember. I just thought of it because there was these 3 black guys at the fucking grocery store today, and they were just really cool. And I was like, oh, I know why. Because I'm like, I worried they think I'm a racist. I actually didn't worry about these guys because we had good smiles together. And that was another reason. I was like, oh, I want to be their friend. They're all hanging out together. I'm just alone. But that's going back to Henry Rollins. It's like, that's what he does. He's alone. Like, sometimes I'm a solitary guy. There's a lot of me, and so him talking about that, it was like so genius. The last like 30 minutes was like so genius. I've like always had those thoughts, like, just like, you have to wake up with this lady every day, and that's why I want to go on a trip with fucking Orthodontist. So it's like, because Bill Murray fucking said, if you go on a fucking trip, then that's like how you fucking know that it's like if you go through like a really shitty situation, not shitty, but just like you're testing your comfort zones. If you do that with someone, you can still stand them at the end of it. It's like that'll test our comfort zones with each other and see if like our love is real. If she wants to. She might not be single. But I worry about people of color sometimes thinking I'm a racist. And I don't even know why I mean, people of color is like the most PC thing to say, honestly. We can't think of something better than that. People of color? People of color, what the fuck does that? I mean, I don't know. I know what it means, but it's like, you know, I went to college for like 2 years. They trained me on some PC things to say, and that was one of them. But it's just weird. I mean, I think, I don't know, dude. I just don't know. I don't know. I should separate these 3 episodes because they're so fucking sporadic. We're driving through Texas. People are nice as fuck. The dogs are super cute. We stop, they poop. We get beef jerky. It's fun. We get fucking gummy bears, whatever the fuck we want. I really do want some gummy octopuses. I did eat an M&M's. It did have 22 grams of sugar. That is way too much. I did run 5 miles and lift weights, and that was negated partly by 26 grams. Sugar with 22 grams of sugar. 22 grams of sugar. 22 grams of sugar. 4 grams of protein, though. I have such fucking scrawny arms. Wow. You don't know it till you see it on TV. I want to get them bigger. It means you need to lift bigger weights. If you want bigger muscles, think about it, you dumb. You think about it. Don't be dumb. If you want nicer muscles, you need to make the bigger weights and stop eating the M&Ms. And I had fucking 2 Tootsie Roll Pops, and I looked it up, and they are 10 grams of sugar. And that's fucked up. Food addiction is real. But I mean, I'm kind of handling it, I guess. I don't know where. I mean, I am. The mornings are easy, the night times are hard. That's when it's hard to like not eat food. But if it's 10, if I don't eat anything else the rest of tonight, just drink water. That would be pretty good. And I could do yoga. Am I fucking turning into an insane person? Like with an eating disorder? Jesus Christ. I fucking went on a road trip with this chick. And like, she was just, everything was like that. She's checking everything and doing it. It was like chill the fuck out. Have fun with your life. But but I don't feel guilt about those M&Ms. They were delicious. I'm watching the fucking Flash right now, dude. It's like towards the end of season 3. I'm on episode 21. Dude, it's such a good show. It's one of my top 5 favorite shows of all time. I say that with I say that with all honesty. I really love The Flash. It's a fucking great show with that guy that plays Barry Allen. He does a really great job of carrying that show. And there's this guy that I know, and he kind of looks like Cisco. And I would say it, but then I would be like, is that racist? But I also wonder if he's like, I know, dude, I'd look exactly like Cisco, dude. And then I guess that I just don't say it, yeah. Oh yeah, but everybody's awesome in that show. And I think Caitlin's gotten way better. But at first I was like, what is she doing? Sometimes she was acting so kind of stiff. I didn't know what to think about it, but that didn't make me not like the show. But I just think that she's really grown. Or maybe like that was the character development and she was just supposed to kind of act like a stone. And anyway, The Flash is great. It's one of my fucking favorite shows in the whole fucking world. And it's all about choices, and it's all about time, and it's all about love, and it's all about the choices that we make having effects, and all the fucking motherfucking regrets that we could fucking have about the fucking things we're doing, and how we could just fucking run back in time and fix it, but you really fucking can't, because that's not how fucking shit works. And there's like these fucking ghosts that come, and they're like, and they're like these fucking crazy ghost things, and they chase you if you try to fuck with time, and you have to like, I don't remember what they're called because I don't fucking read like the message boards, and like I'm fucking got other shit to do sometimes, but I've fucking seen almost every episode of the show and I love it so much. But I know lots of shit about Star Wars, but even that is like something that I fucking kind of fall behind on, because sometimes it's like, I got other shit to do. I was talking about The Flash, that's right, but now I want to talk about Star Wars, because I'm fucking excited, and they're gonna get rid of the Jedi, and I don't know what to think about that. Like, there shouldn't be any justification at all that Anakin turned to the dark side. He could have quit being a Jedi and fucked Padme. But instead he is just like kept it in and didn't fucking say anything about it, because he liked all the glory and the fame, and he wanted everybody to know the Anakin Skywalker's name. You know what I'm fucking saying? So I don't know about this Last Jedi shit, but I really love Looper, so I hope Rian Johnson fucking knocks it out of the park, and I think that he will. But I still kind of don't know what I think about this whole idea about turning the Jedi into this kind of like, oh, they're just as bad, they're like the Mormons, you know, and they're just as bad as the bad guys, or I don't know if that's the point, but kind of like, that's where it seems like it's going. But, I mean, after December, of course, I'm gonna probably see this movie like 5 motherfucking times, just because motherfucking Mark Hamill's finally gonna fucking have a fucking line instead of just fucking staring. And that was weird when there was a helicopter shot. That was the only thing in that 7th movie that I was like, that's really not something that you'd see in a Star Wars, a fucking helicopter shot. So like, before that part happens, I just like pause it. No, I'm kidding, I don't do that, but like, I would make an edit and just be like, just have it end on his face, cause it fucking started with him as he was fucking staring into the sunset, wishing, wanting to be somewhere he's not, feeling that he's got the double sunsets, is filled with regret. He wishes he was like a wedge. He went to the academy, but he fucking had to help his aunt and uncle. But in actuality, his uncle just didn't want him to become like his dad, so he tried to keep him inside. A farmer boy trapped stuck in a line. He's like, I was just trying to go to the Toshi station, and I know that's like an obvious reference, but fuck, when you're watching that movie and he says it, it's still fucking amazing. Oh yeah, like, I really love Star Wars. I fucking read lots of books, and I fucking seen most of the episodes of Rebels, and I gotta get through Clone Wars 2 because I think it's gonna get taken off of Netflix on June some 6 about in June, and I want to make sure that I see the episodes, but they really should finish the Clone Wars because fucking right when fucking Darth Maul got his own Mandalorian army, Disney was like, no, we don't want to finish this show. And I was like, hey, I'm not a big fan, but yo. And then I like actually got into the show because I watched some episodes. And Ahsoka Tano is one of the fucking coolest characters in Star Wars. And that show really elevates the movies, and it really makes the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin something that you can relate to more than just them being adversarial, because in the movies it's like Attack of the Clones especially, they're just like fighting the whole time until the very end. They're finally back again, being friends, and he just kissed Padme, and he's like, she's like, I love you, and he's like, what the fuck? And then like, of course they live because they're the good guys, and it's like, of course there's gonna be another movie, fucking Padme. You don't die till the next movie. After you've had your kids, haven't you fucking watched the original trilogy? It's been out for like fucking 15 years. And then the show's good because it like fills that out. And Ahsoka Tano's really cool. And the combination of Star Wars Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels really is really cool because like the story of Ahsoka, it goes through those films, and it's really this deep kind of thing that makes you really think more about Anakin. And anyways, that's enough nerding out. I'm 22 minutes in, and I haven't even said anything about the flaming lips, the flaming lips, the So, we're driving, right? We're listening to Sade, because I was in Sade at the time, and I still am in a way. I haven't listened to her a ton, but I will listen to her tonight, maybe. Now that I'm thinking of her. It was just a super fun trip. It was a super cool trip, and so we go see the Flaming Lips, and we see them. They're playing in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I burned the CD. I write Monkey Man, the JohnWhites.com. I love you guys, you're the best. But the whole time there, this is the same year, on top of Orthodontist, on top of everything else. This is the same year that I get into Grant Morrison. This is the same year that I finally read Grant Morrison's 2 comic books that have been sitting on my shelves forever. Invisibles Volume 1, The Invisibles Volume 1, and The Filth. And they were, when I was 21, I walked into a comic book store and I said, "Give me the juice, dude. Give me the best shit there is. I don't want to fuck around with this. Don't want to fuck around anymore. Tell me what's the best." And he's like, "Oh, dude, Grant Morrison." He said, "Scott Pilgrim guy." I said, "You reading Scott Pilgrim?" It was before the movie came out and stuff. And he's like, "Scott Pilgrim and Grant Morrison." And he took me over to Grant Morrison. And he's like, "Well, these are the best." And he's like, "The Invisibles and the Filth." He's like, "But I don't recommend starting here because they're really hard to read." And I was like, "Give them to me! Give them to me! I can read them! I can do it!" Oh, I didn't pause the flash. Whatever. I'm gonna close it. I just don't want spoilers, dude. Oh yeah, that's right. The Flash is rad. The Flash rocks. The Flash is one of the best shows ever. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. And it's easy to, whoever plays Iris, easy on the eyes. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? You know what I'm talking about? Not me. As the Your Mom's House podcast would say, which is going to be one of the episodes coming out where I just talk about how much I love that podcast. It's a podcast about how much I love a podcast. Anyway. Oh, it's cool with the burp while I was talking about Your Mom's House. Anyway. We get to the show. We're having fun. We're going to Applebee's. We're going to Applebee's like a motherfucker. Dude, we're fucking having fun. It's just a cool ass time. It's exciting. And like, it's like that period where you're just like, I knew she was gonna leave. I wasn't that bummed. I mean, I was bummed. And I remember calling her and being like, "I miss you." She like texted me back later like, "I loved your message. It made me smile." And it was just like, things were fucking vibing. So I finally read Grant Morrison. I had at my job at the movie theater, which is like the perfect job if you can do this, which is read on downtime. Which, like, there's a lot of downtime if you're not taking tickets and there's 2 hours in between movies and the lobby's fucking clean, man. Let me fucking read my fucking books, man. Anyway, they took away our book privilege, but there was a while where we could fucking read books. And while I read those books, I was like, I'm gonna finally read those Grant Morrison books, because over the years, many, many years, from 21 to 26, 5 years, tried to read them, but it was just like, I didn't get it. And I should have, I mean, it helps to smoke marijuana and read them. And I'm also going to do an episode about Grant. And so that's really cool too. Because that's going to be the next 2 episodes, those. So it's kind of funny talking about them all at the same time. But I finally read them and like my mind was fucking blown. I've never read anything like The Filth before or since. And he's made the craziest stuff I've ever read, like in the comic book form. I love Alan Moore. I love, Brian K. Vaughan. Brian K. Vaughan I love so much. And I love Alan Moore too. I'm not trying to, but Grant Morrison's my favorite author. Grant Morrison's my favorite author of any written medium. So books, whatever. It's like Grant Morrison's my fucking guy. So I read The Filth. And I'm like, I really hope no one sees this because it's fucking, there's some filth in it. And there's some filthy stuff in it. There's some filthy, filthy stuff in it. I go home and I'm like, who's this guy? YouTube him, Grant Morrison. This is what I do. You can do this. I mean, you just YouTube Grant Morrison. In the second video down is Grant Morrison. The first one is Fat Man on Batman, which is great, but don't watch that one first. Maybe watch that one first. But if you're ready to get fucking freak the fuck out. Watch Grant Morrison Disinfocon lecture magic, Terence McKenna. It's incredible, and he sent me down a rabbit hole. And there was a part where I burned myself on it because I couldn't handle certain things growing up religious. You're taught like superstitious things. So basically Grant Morrison gave a lecture about magic, about chaos magic, and how you can do magic in your life, and it sounds really crazy. And he says to just, if you don't believe me, do it. And I think you should just watch his video. I think it's really interesting. I think it's really cool. I think it's really, really cool. And I started to do this stuff. I think it's a really great video. I do. And I did the thing he said to do. And it worked. And it was involved with orthodontist too. It's like, I did a thing and it worked. And it was something that I like couldn't wrap my head around. That it just worked the next day. And it blew my mind, and I went from being like a really staunch atheist after I saw Sam Harris lecture when I was like 20, 21. And I was just like, oh, I can't deny that. But then this happened, and I was like, what's going on? And I got into all sorts of stuff. Joe Rogan, kind of psychedelic stuff at that time too, and he's still into it. But it was like, I felt like, because he was in that DMT movie, so it was just like all that kind of stuff happened. Terence McKenna, Robert Anton Wilson is huge. And so it's like all the people he mentions in the video I got into. So it was just like that, reading that comic book, watching that movie, led me down like this huge rabbit hole. And led me down this rabbit hole. And a rabbit hole that I feel like I've never... I was a part where I was just really scared because he does chaos magic, but there's ceremonial magic, and I started getting into that because I got super into chaos magic and it was really fun. I just wasn't ready for the ceremonial stuff, so I'm trying to like transition back to where I'm doing the chaos magic and back to a more like faithful spiritual mindset. Because like 2011, like I'm talking about that 6 years ago, but it's like that was the best year of my life, and it's like so much of it was like my perspective and attitude. Because like Robert Anton Wilson and Grant Morrison and everyone talks about like reality tunnels and how, like your perception, like your attitude is everything. Your attitude towards your life, your attitude towards the things that are happening to you. You're shaping the story by like your attitude. Like things are happening, but like your attitude is how you're experiencing them. And they really led me down. Like Robert Anton Wilson talks a lot about reality tunnels and how we all live in reality tunnels. And it's like that's, again, going to, I have no idea about the South. I don't want to stereotype, but I'm just saying like I had a great time. But I'm also a bold white guy that, I don't know. And I'm just saying that might be part of my reality tunnel. Like that I go through life like that, But, so, part of it too, Grant Morrison in the video talks about how he got abducted. He didn't get I don't know, he talks about like an alien experience he had. He had an alien experience, an experience with an alien force. And he had an alien experience, I should say, and I was just fascinated by it. And again, this is before I got afraid of it. I was just so into it. And I was just like, I want to have an experience like this. I want to have an alien abduction. Not an abduction, but just like I want to have an alien experience. I want to see a UFO. Like I have a friend who has seen UFOs, and I really believe him. I do. I don't think he's crazy. I do believe him. Because I just believe like there's higher dimensions to this universe. And like that's where my faith comes in, I guess. I'm agnostic about it. I don't want to commit and be like, yes, I know this is true. But I also like have had experiences that lead me to be agnostic, and I don't need to like impress anyone and be like, I'm an atheist because this is what's the coolest thing right now. And I think people are kind of getting past that because it's like, we have to figure out a way to get along because we're all gonna have different beliefs, and I don't know. Whatever. But I do believe that I do believe I am an agnostic. I am agnostic, like totally. But I'm an agnostic who believes. I'll just say that. Like sometimes I don't, but like right now I'm going to, because I like it more when I believe, and I like it more when I believe like we're living in a World of Warcraft type scenario, and like we're living in a World of Warcraft type scenario, like characters in World of Warcraft. They can swim, they can touch rocks, there's matter, there's laws of physics that exist in that, but it's a dimension inside of our dimension. And I like believing that we're a dimension inside of another dimension that's outside of time. And this dimension outside of time is where gods live, or where beings live that are like we're incapable of understanding, in the same way ants are incapable of like understanding Shakespeare, in the same way like I am incapable of understanding Shakespeare. Pretty much. I should work on that. But just I should learn to read Shakespeare. But just it's incomprehensible to us, and I don't see any reason why not. We make video games. In the future, we'd be able to essentially create universes too if we had the technology. So it just makes some sense that it can be an Ouroboros universe creating universe type thing, which is crazy because that's kind of what Mormons believe, that like people make universes and then have babies, that like God has us as children, and it's kind of has us as children, and then I don't believe this, but this is their story. It's like God lives in heaven. God lives in heaven. He makes babies. We're his babies. If we do a good job, we get to become gods who make babies that if they do a good job, get to become gods. Like, it's a crazy kind of thing, but that's what they believe. And they don't tell you that right away because it's super confusing to talk about. But, you know, it makes sense. Like, we make video games. We want to do things like, if you were a being outside of time, an infinite being outside of time, like you would want to create someone like Shakespeare. Like you have to have children to create. You exist in a place where that's unchangeable, so you create places that have change to show experiences. We play Civilization, we do this stuff. Like, it makes sense to me. I'm not saying I totally believe it, but I believe it. You know, like I'm believing it today because like I want to go back to having faith. Like I don't want to, I feel like, and so thinking about magic and thinking about how we live in magic, that's a metaphor, like a word. It's just words that we use to describe things. But I realized like I've always been doing magic and creating magic. And like the John Whites to me was magic, like me, alchemy. Like I didn't invent a guitar, I didn't invent notes on the music. I didn't invent this stuff. I didn't invent being a human being, but I took all these things that I could and I transferred them into the John Whites. That was like my alchemy, like all these ingredients, and turn them into the John Whites and make albums through that. And that's my magic. That's how I create and do magic, is I'm always doing it. So that was like, I was like, okay, I have to stop doing this ceremonial magic stuff because it's making me too paranoid. But I'm still always doing magic. But I'm still always doing magic, and I am, like, and I forget this, and I don't think about this all the time, but when I'm talking to people, I'm doing magic. And they are to me too, like how I'm interacting, like if I'm being kind to them, if I'm being pleasant, if I'm being affable, not to a degree of being fake, but to a degree of making the most like amicable experience for two people in this world interacting with each other. And I feel like that's magic. And if I'm in a bad mood and I'm treating people badly, or I'm rolling my eyes in my head, rolling my eyes subconsciously, or doing these things, like that's not cool. That's not the right way to like live. That's not how I want to treat people. So you're doing magic all the time. Like you're always doing magic. And like people get locked up because like I'm not a magician, as like I'm not a fucking scientist. Like it'd be so hard for me to be a mathematician. Like, that would be so hard for me, and I don't enjoy it, and it'd be hard and painful, and I would feel locked up and in pain. And I do want to learn math better, but to have that be like, if that was just someone forcing me to do that, but like, music's always just been like, music's been something, you know, I saw my brother playing the guitar, so I wanted to play the guitar. And so music's always been something I wanted to do, and I've always been really thankful and blessed, and I'm always doing it as a way of and that's how I'm doing magic. And I hope, in a way, for hopefully, and not to anyone else, but back at me, that this podcast is also doing magic, in the sense that, like, it's making me a better person. It's making me think about this stuff, because I feel like, I mean, at the beginning of 2015, my sister was just like, you're turning into a fucking asshole. Or I guess going in, not the beginning of 2015, but going into 2016. So like the New Year's Eve of 2015, she's like, you're turning into an asshole. And she was really right. And I was like angry. And I was like, if I'm not angry like Kanye West was angry about why he wasn't famous, and that's how he got famous, like he used anger to fuel him, it's like, but I couldn't do that. Like, that's not right for me, you know? And like, I was just turning into an asshole. And she's called me out on it. And so it's something I've really worked on, but it's something too, like, I hope with this podcast, again, like, that I can become someone better because of it, and like learn how to be better, think better, do better. Like, I hold myself. Is this thing on? Hello? The fucking battery died. But I don't know where we were at. But I also don't know why the display is not working. And I also, this is like the most unprofessional podcast. Okay, so hopefully that wasn't, I don't know where it ended, but I was talking about magic, and just that we're always doing magic. Like, everything we do in life is magic. That's a metaphor, but it's a metaphor for movement, but the movements make weight, or not bottling up magic by not making movements. You know, that's like a really interesting thing, like action being the most important thing. That's like what the Dalai Lama, I heard him, like a quote, like, you know, above all else, like, action is the most important thing. And I love that, you know? I think that's really fucking cool. And I'm just fucking pumped right now, and just thinking about this stuff. And I hope, I don't know where we were at. I don't know what kept, because the battery died. But just, Grant Morrison changed my life. So I had a desire to have an alien type experience. And, so we go to Roswell too. I mean, we go by Roswell, and like, cause that's on the way, and just like, you know, it's just cool, like checking Roswell out, and just, I mean, I believe in aliens, of course, but I don't know what I believe about Roswell, but I don't know much about it, but it was just still cool, and it was just still part of this kind of idea, and this new awakening, you know, where I went from being an atheist to an agnostic, and then, you know, someone who's atheist to believing in magic, you know, and even if magic just sets your mind frame on the right course, that's awesome too. And it really did, like, a lot changed that year. You know, falling in love super hard, having this huge romance that so many songs are, having a new kind of faith that wasn't around anymore, having a new kind of belief. And my love of those two graphic novels by Grant Morrison, I bought all the Invisibles. I bought everything. I like everything he's made. I have that whole shelf over there. I'll show on his episode. But like, I've bought so much stuff. I mean, I'm not everything, but a lot of his stuff, because I'm just such a huge fan of his work. And so in the podcast, he has that story about that alien story. So I have this desire to have an alien experience. We're going through Roswell. We see the flaming lips. No alien experience yet, but an awesome thing, and an awesome book that I got, which I haven't fully read, called God is a Verb, Kabbalah and the Practice of Mystical Judaism. And you're rolling your eyes and being like, oh, you're trying to be Madonna. But just like, I mean, I don't understand it, but it's really cool. And, you know, just because I don't understand math doesn't mean there's not something to it. But that idea of God being a verb, you know, we're all verbs. And that's a Grant Morrison quote. Like, he's never met a noun in his life. He's only met verbs. And we're all changing and growing. And you know, we shouldn't think of ourselves as being stagnant. We're getting into all this stuff. I'm getting into like all this crazy stuff. So we see the Flaming Lips, right? I mean, Aleister Crowley, because of Robert Anton Wilson and Grant Morrison, and just that idea, and just I think it's so cool how many things he did, how many things he was a part of, how many things he did as a person, you know? And that's what's cool about like Henry Rollins, is like, he does so much shit. He does so much stuff, and it's like, if your output's really good and like you're working really hard, it's a really admirable thing. And the Flaming Lips have put out a ton of stuff, and I'm at their show, and I'm excited, and I have my demo to Michael Ivins that I fucking markered up with a burned CD from Best Buy, that I markered up from a burned CD from Best Buy that I burned on a laptop that we made there. For some reason I didn't come prepared, but I think I wrote a note too that, you know, explained this whole story that just thousands of people have that story, I'm sure. Like, I started playing music because of you guys. So, but it means something to me. It meant something to me to, I guess, to express that. I don't know why, but it means something to me to like, and people send me emails, not to any large degree, but every email is incredible like that to me. I love that. Someone's just like, dude, I've listened to all your albums and I love them, and I love you. And it's like, dude, awesome. Like, fuck yeah. You know, and if they're like, your music got me through a hard time, it's like, me too, dude. Like, thank you. That's awesome. Like, I'm glad I'm not that much of a freak, that like you and I relate at least on some level. I mean, it's a really cool experience, you know. And I like to express that to people too, just like, thank you so much. Like, I was just like, you know, it's like the South Park guys and the Flaming Lips were the most radically different philosophies when I was a young boy. And so for that to kind of, you know, 14, 12, South Park when I was really young, like 12, and the Flaming Lips when I was like 16, 17. But those are huge formative times, and to sort of have the outside influence was awesome in like this bubble of Mormonism. So we are at the show, and someone, I might have seen, I think I saw the guy because of Twitter or because of Instagram or something. I think Twitter. I saw the guy that does the wrangling, like gets the people together to like dance on stage. And I was like, hey man. He was like, oh shit, this guy fucking recognizes me. So his face was like, hey man, like I want to get on, I want to do the thing. Is that cool? Like, are you guys doing that? Would that be cool? And he's like, all right, look, we're really full up, but if we can have you like meet us up top, and we'll meet you up top, okay? And so I was like, awesome. So I go up top, and he's like, comes back, and he's like, all right, dude, we got you. And then it's sort of like, it's our second meeting, dude. That's why when you go on a date, you have to go two places. You have to go somewhere and like walk somewhere. Like, you have to do two things to have like two separate experiences. We see each other again, and this time it's all good, and he's cool, and he's like, you're gonna go do this, let's go. We're going downstairs, everyone's down there, and I go backstage, and I go into like this room, and it's just full of like, there's like me and 5 other dudes, me and like 7 other dudes, and me, and then like fucking 8 chicks, fucking a bunch of like smoking hot chicks. Whew, still like get the shivers thinking about them. But they're fucking, like, it was the best, and like they all took a picture around me, and like I was like, yay. But it was so fun to see. You know, it's always fun to be around fucking gorgeous women. I mean, it's always a good time. And we're backstage at the Flaming Lips, and we're all dressed like Wizard of Oz. Like, we're all in this room, and we're all getting dressed like Wizard of Oz people. And I'm the Tin Man. The Tin Man? What was his problem? What was his? I don't like remember that movie super well. But I'm dressed as the Tin Man. They're all dressed as like Dorothy. So it's like all these hot chicks dressed in like Dorothy outfits, which was just like, dude, I'm like, the fact that I'm still fucking like getting, my stomach is like I have butterflies right now thinking about that. What's it? The Wizard of Oz. That's right. What a flick. So we're all dressed backstage. You know, people are lined, people whatever, and then like we go to the sides of the show, and the whole show. Wait. Okay. Hold on. I might edit this out. I might not. But blah, blah, blah. Wizard of Oz. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, what is it? What was his deal? What did they all want? What did he want? If he only had a what? If he only had a what? If, and then the Flaming Lips. Oh, they sing this song. And it's really good. Tin Man has a heart. When a man's an empty kettle, he should be on his mettle. And yet I'm torn apart, just because I'm presuming that I could be kinda human if I only had a heart. I'd be tender, I'd be gentle and awful sentimental regarding love and art. I'd be friends with the sparrows and the boys who shoot the arrows if I only had a heart. I'd be friends with the sparrows and the boys who shoot the arrows if I only had a heart. I don't have many friends. Picture me I'm just trying to find the connections between me and the Tin Man. Picture me a balcony above a voice sings low. Wherefore art thou Romeo? I don't know Shakespeare that well. Wherefore art thou Romeo? I hear a beat, how sweet. Just to register emotion, jealousy, devotion, and really feel the part. I could stay young and chipper, and I'd lock it with a zipper. Come on. I'd lock it with the zipper. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's what they came up with. If I only had a heart. But you find out that he does have a heart. So I'm the Tin Man, but before that, though, he's like, hey, the guy's like, hey man. So we have these two blow-up people, you know, like these giant blow-up people. You blow them up with air, and he's like, we've got these giant blow-up people, man, and we want you to be one of the guys. He's like, so you're going to be the sun, okay? And I was like, cool. He's like, so stand over here, we're going to get you in the suit, we're going to blow it up, and just like dance around, move your arms around, okay? And I was like, rad. Fuck yeah. So I go over there, I'm in the Tin Man outfit, and I'm going to do this other part too. And I'm like, this is so fucking cool. I'm going to do this other thing too with the sun. And at the last second, he comes over to me and he's like, hey man, change of plans. You're going to be the alien. And I was like, what the fuck? And so I did that, and I was in the alien outfit, and I was just like flying around, and I was like inside of an alien. And it was like the opposite of like an abduction. I don't know, like it was just this crazy moment, and it was so synchronicitous, and that's a concept I didn't really know about before. They just teach you about coincidence, but you know, there are these moments. There's these moments that really stand out, and they tell a story, and they teach you a story. And I don't know if you pay attention. I feel like if I pay attention, then I feel like that's when I'm on the right path, you know, when I'm like aligned with myself. And I've felt that more recently, and I'm feeling that again. And I'm feeling that again, which is awesome. So in the alien outfit, we get out, and like I'm on stage with the Flaming Lips, and I'm the fucking Tin Man, and this time I've made 6 albums, not one, like the last time I've seen him, and I feel just so like a man. It's the first time I ever felt like a man after I made Monkey Man, which is crazy. I mean, I guess maybe that's why it's called that. I don't really know, but like I feel like a man, and it's for the first thing I ever made that I felt was great. I know it sounds arrogant, but I was like, that's a great album. That's fucking awesome.
And it's because I hit a level of proficiency and a level of expectations and standards within myself that I won't release something musically I don't think is great. Unless it's like my old B-side stuff, which I have a couple albums which I have like ready to go, which maybe aren't great, but like they're kind of great in a way. But like if I work hard enough, I can make something great, and that's an ability I have, so I have to do that. And so I hit that ability at like Monkey Man time, and maybe before that with A Light Will Be Thrown. But when Monkey Man came out, I was like, dude, if you just work really fucking hard at stuff, you can get shit done. So when I was handing it to Michael Ivins, it was like a really proud moment. And being on stage with him, I just felt so like, it was this another synchronicitous moment where I'm like, this is so cool. I'm like a totally different person, like and based on these guys' music that made me want to make music. It made me believe that I could. Like, I've made 6 albums and I'm a completely different person because of these albums. I would be just still like a fat, sad, sappy sucker, as Brock Isaac would say, if I never got the fucking confidence that I got after I made Monkey Man. Because it made me feel so confident to make something that great. And it made me feel, and it showed me that like discipline, hard work equals results, and I tried to apply that to other things now in my life, and it's been hard, and I have bad habits, and I'm trying to fix those bad habits while maintaining my humanity, and maintaining my sanity, and maintaining like my zest and who I am. My zest, Jesus Christ, that's the I looked like, oh, maybe that's not recording. I can't believe I said zest. That makes me want to barf. My essence, that's like almost as bad, but not as bad. And it was just this really fucking awesome moment. And to be on stage with them was just so fucking cool. So we see the show, and after the show, I meet Wayne Coyne again. And I talked to him, and it was just so cool. And it was just, again, a solidifying moment that I was just on the right path. A solidifying moment that I'm on the right path, making music, making art, doing what I do. And he was talking about how, art's masturbation, but, that's awesome. Masturbating's great, dude. I mean, sometimes, masturbating's cool. And artistic masturbation is beautiful because it makes beautiful art. And, if someone wants to, like, taste your cum, that's great. Because your cum's out there as art now, and people just like lick it up, and that's great. Because I want to lick up some art, some cum art. It's fucking great stuff, and that people do that. And I remember, like, one of my girlfriends, the girlfriend I was in the band with, was like, being a musician selfish, and like being an artistic selfish. And I was like, well, I'm doing it then. I'm selfish then, because that's what I want to do. Because I want to make art. I want to work like a job I hate. I want to fucking make a go at what my fucking purpose in life is, which is to make art and to be an artist and be a musician. It's like the reason I'm on earth. I like really truly believe that. I don't think it's like an accident. I think it's like, yeah, that's why I'm fucking here. So to be on stage with the Flaming Lips and then to meet Wayne Coyne afterwards and just have that solidifying moment, it was just like, and to dance inside of an alien giant alien inflatable costume was fucking amazing. It was fucking so cool. To be in that costume was just so fucking amazing. So fucking awesome. And then getting out and like people were like pointing at me in the audience like, you're a cool dude. And I was like, thank you, I'm a cool dude. And that sounds so stupid, but there really was like this whole group of people that like started pointing at me. And I was like, looked at them and they're like, yeah, you. And because I guess of the way I was dancing. And obviously it was goofy, but it was just like this thing. And again, being on stage where you're at a fucking theater and like the seats are full and people are packed and like there's confetti and it's insane. It's like this most insane thing in the world, the Flaming Lips concert. And you're just like right there. And then the next night, because the tickets for the next night for people who bought for the first night were $5, so we went and saw them the next night, and I was just down in the pit like a regular fucking fan, so I got to be on stage the one night, and then down in the pit the second night, and then the shows weren't exactly the same either. They played different songs too, some of them, but also you just want to fucking hear the hits of musicians. Like, it's just different. I mean, you want to hear it, and it just was so cool, and that was like so fucking badass. So now I'm gonna go pee, because I told the Tulsa, Oklahoma story, and it was great, and I had an alien experience, and we went and I met my mom's cousin, and that was really cool, and we met other people that were in my family, like distant cousins, distant aunts and uncles, and it was just really cool and eye-opening, and just to be like, man, this is the greenest fucking place in the world. Like, I grew up in Utah and fucking, I mean, Reno especially is a desert, but so is Provo. I mean, it's the fucking desert. So it was really crazy to be out and be like, this is so fucking green. I did not know shit got this green up in here. And it was just great, and I fucking heard that song too on that trip. You can do magic, do do. You can have anything that you desire. Magic, do do. You can know, and you know you're the one who can put out the fire. You know darn well. You can do magic, do do. You can have anything that you desire. Magic, do do. And you know you're the one. You're the one. It was just a fucking great trip, and we went to the place, like the White Sands. I don't know where those are. It's like by Arizona, and I think we drove through. I just love. I mean, I'm excited to fucking tour. I'm fucking excited to fucking go on tour, because I've been making Cave Paint, which is my first 9 albums, for 10 years, and I've always wanted to go on tour, and I'm gonna go on tour, so that's gonna be fun. Okay, I'm gonna go pee. So what is that? That's show 6. So I've seen him 6 times. So there's 2 more shows. And that was 2011. I think I saw him next in like 2014. I know there's only one show. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But it was around then. It was before. But so, oh yeah, I was just gonna play a song. Put your face up to. This is not gonna work. Where's the capo? I might have already played this song on the podcast. Put your face up to the window. Put your face up to the window. Tell me all about your gay folks. Feels better when you're in it. Put it on strong cable, turn it on. Turn it on and all the way up, turn it on. In the houses when you wake up, turn it on. Ain't got no relations to all those other stations. Turn it on. So I went back to Reno, and I got into a relationship too fast, and I didn't really like her. But I was also just still really heartbroken about Ortha Hunters. It hurt so bad as things progressed. It really hurt when she left, and then it hurt some more, and then we stopped contacting each other. It was like shutting the door. It's like my go-to, like leave-a-doo-doo right now. Leave-a-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. do 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 do. And I made we got in that relationship, and so with that lady, with the girl I was dating, with the girl I was dating at the time, we went and saw the Flaming Lips when they came to Reno. So this is the 7th time I've seen them. Yeah, I told about the Las Vegas one. Danced on stage with them before they opened for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then we watched the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which was just so cool to see John Frusciante in real life. And I think he walked by me. What I was gonna say in the other episodes, I think he walked by me in the hallway. Like I have that memory of just walking by a god, like an actual god, like a radiant. And he didn't want to talk to him. He didn't want to make eye contact. He was in his zone. But just walking by a god, and then walking by Flea, and he's like a god too, but just like John Frusciante's like a total god. I don't know. Flea's amazing too, but it was just crazy. And then like we weren't supposed to talk to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and these fucking girls see Anthony Kiedis out backstage. He's got his fucking shirt off. He's ripped, just like Anthony Kiedis, and they start talking to him. And I think that's why Wayne Coyne didn't come and meet us out there. And we stayed after that show at Las Vegas. This is when I was like 15 or 16 with my second girlfriend technically, but really my first girlfriend. My first serious girlfriend. And we waited outside and we didn't get to meet the Flaming Lips. And they were like, they're gone. Their bus has left, so you're sitting here waiting for nothing. So get your fucking asses out of here, alright? They didn't say that, but they did say they were gone. They did say that they left on the bus. So they left on the tour bus. So we went home. But now I'm with a different girlfriend, and we're in Reno. And Wayne Coyne is, I think, recently divorced. And this confetti, chaotic, inside of a gerbil bubble, crawling across the audience, inside of a bubble crawling across the audience, explosions, confetti, everything like that, people dancing on stage, exuberant celebration of life. An exuberant celebration of life. Well, that show in Reno was not that. Wayne Coyne was like, they had constructed like this fake alien altar kind of that was like 5 feet off the ground that he stood at the whole time, and he had a fake baby in his arms, and he was just like would sing a song and then would like Google the baby, like tickle the baby and like act like it was alive. It was like this doll. It was this doll, and he's fucking like Googling like and like treating it like it's a baby. And it was just one of those things where I was like, if I saw this show when I was 15, I would have not have started writing songs afterwards. I would have been like, what the fuck is going on? I'm glad I saw them at the era they were at. And I was like, this is insane. Like, that was the craziest thing. And my girlfriend was like, what the fuck was that? And my friends all came too, and they were like, what the fuck was that? Everyone was like, that was just the weirdest fucking shit ever. And it looked like just they created an alien spaceship, but it was like not intimate. It wasn't like, and he didn't do a lot of the talking stuff that he normally does. It was just like him on an altar with a fake baby, and everyone else looked like they were in a bad mood. And it was like, this is really weird. And it was like, maybe they just hated it because it was like they were playing at the Grand Sierra, and the stage is huge. And I actually talked to their tour manager at the show I just saw them at, like a couple weeks ago, about it. And he was like talking about how the stage is really huge and how it was a weird show. So there could have been a lot of reasons, and maybe it was cooler if it was in a different scenario, and like maybe they were just off that night. Maybe that was what they were going for exactly. Maybe that was exactly the experience they wanted, because they've always done different stuff. I mean, they change and they do different stuff, so I mean, it wouldn't put him past. I was just like, oh, they're just done doing that. I wasn't like mad. I was just like, they're done doing that whole let's fucking be stoked that we're alive. The enthusiasm for life defeats existential fear, which is a great song. That one time when I was listening to it, I think I was crying, or like a tear came down my eye. My girlfriend made fun of me, and we luckily broke up. This is the first girlfriend, technically the second. Why am I always talking about this stuff? Because it's the story I'm telling. And they're the songs that girls I write songs about. So we see the Reno show. That's just like, I mean, I don't know. It was just weird. It was just, I mean, I guess it was cool that it was different, but it was also like, I could have just, I don't know. I definitely was like, guys, it's not normally like that. And I didn't know, but I was just like, I was like, guys, when I've seen it before, they were awesome. And I wasn't doing that to rub it in, just like being like, yeah, no, the rumors are true, just like they were off. I've seen them before. They were just off tonight. Or again, that could have been what they were going for. But it didn't connect with the audience. I'll tell you that much. And it was a weird show. And maybe Reno's just a hard town to play. Because it can be, because people get pretty rowdy here and drunk and stuff. It can be just like bad audience members, which is very frustrating. But when you're pro like Bill Burr, you just fucking handle it like a motherfucker, and it's funny as shit. Because I saw Bill Burr and he did that once. Anyway, see the Flaming Lips in Reno. I'm like, I see the Flaming Lips. They come to my hometown. I'm really excited. I'm very disappointed in the show. And I'm like, oh fuck, that sucks. That like, you know, but I'm glad I got to see them, and I'm still thankful. And again, I'm on this ride because of them, I feel like. I mean, that's a little simplistic, but I don't know how much simplistic it is. I mean, Chuck Palahniuk had a lot to do with that too. Chuck Palahniuk fucking wrote me a letter when I was a kid and told me to really go after my dreams. I mean, I wrote him first and he wrote me back, and that was really cool. And I still have, he sent me this, which is my spirit animal is an elephant. I mean, it is now because Chuck Palahniuk said so that makes sense to me. And I have a memory once of an elephant, and he was outside, and he was just running and smacking his elephant nose, whatever those are called. And he was smacking his fucking nose against the door, running backwards and running forwards and smacking his nose against the door. Like he was trapped. And I just think about that memory sometimes, and I think like, fuck, I don't want to be like that elephant. I want to be like the free elephants. Anyway, I'm still thankful. I'm still excited. I still think it's fucking cool to see the Flaming Lips, you know? So, then, recently, my mom bought me tickets for my birthday to go see the Flaming Lips, and she bought me like a VIP ticket that I could like meet the Flaming Lips. So this is the 8th time I've seen them. She buys me the tickets for my birthday to see the Flaming Lips. And honestly, because of that Reno show, I wasn't that excited. I was just like, I don't know, like, I'm not that excited to see them. Because I really miss that old Flaming Lips sound. I miss that old vibe. Like, I mean, I get why someone wouldn't want to do the same thing, but like that was like an experience, like a spiritual, religious experience to see them live. And I felt like the alien spaceship one wasn't in Reno. So I didn't really want to go. I wasn't that excited about it. And I didn't know I was going to meet him. It's like, I wish I would have like read, like, you're going to meet the Flaming Lips. You're going to... Because I wasn't prepared. I found out, like, that there was a, like, that it was a meet and greet. And it was really cool for her to do that. It was so awesome. And I was like, I mean, I've been in a bad mood because the album's taking so long to make. And I was just raunchy and in a bad mood. And I was just like, I don't know why. I was just like being a bitch. And just had a bitchy attitude. And I was not being bitchy to my mom, but I was just like, I was just on my period. And I was just on my period, alright? And then So we walk up and she's like, so she's like, we're in different, I'm in the seating area and you're going to go and you're going to like go backstage and you're going to meet them. And they came out and said like, the guys came out and said there's a meet and greet and I got this cool badge and it was just amazing. It was awesome. It was just cool. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. So I was like, Mom, thank you. But I really wasn't prepared and I felt super shy. Which I didn't feel like when I made Monkey Man. Which I think shows that like I'm not totally... Like I want to get back to that 2011. Because I was just I'm firing on a lot of cylinders. But I was firing at all cylinders then. And I want to fire on all cylinders. And you know that when you just feel like you're, as Joseph Campbell says, like you're following your bliss. And I just feel like there's probably just things I'm not doing, but I'm working on it. I mean, I do feel better than I did when I saw the Flaming Lips. Because I'm in this bitchy mood, right? We're in line. And then we get to... so she goes to her section of the theater, or she goes to a bar to wait, and they let me in, and this is like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, what? Like, I had no idea what was going on. And now the Flaming Lips are sound checking, and they're playing fucking awesome songs, and they're sound checking Race for the Prize, and they're sound checking, I mean, I'm watching the Flaming Lips sound check. It's so fucking cool. Wayne Coyne's just walking around, and Wayne Coyne, who has been doing this forever, is like so meticulous and involved with the sound of, and this is like his millionth show, and they're all just trying to get it perfect, trying to get it right, and he's got a flashlight and he's pointing, he's like, hey, there's something going on over here, hey, there's something going on over there, and it was just like, fuck yeah, why am I being a bitch? Look at him, he's fucking working it for 30 years into his career. He's fucking working it hard. And it was just so cool to see that and be like, okay, yeah, never give up, never let up, always be vigilant, no complacency. And that was really inspiring. And then just seeing like my hero, just being like, holy shit, this is crazy. He's just walking around and like, we like make eye contact and like kind of not, give a nod down to each other, and like I'm just like, he knows like I'm a guy that he doesn't know my mom paid for it, but like he's like he knows I'm a guy that paid for a VIP pass, and so he's doing his thing, and he's coming up and meeting people and talking to people, and I normally would have been like, dude, I'm such a big fan, and I was just so shy. And then we go in line, and I'm in line to like for the meet and greet, and this really cool girl named Holly starts talking to me, and she's like, hey, I'm Holly, what's up? And she's talking to me, and she's really cool. And we're talking, and then I start talking to the tour manager, talking to Holly, and then it's my turn. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm not super stoned and comfortable like I normally am. I'm like, not that I don't think that's a good excuse, but just like, I'm just like a little unnerved and a little bit like worried about meeting him. And anyways, I meet them all, and they're being really nice. Again, Michael, Steven, and Wayne, and we shake their hands and stuff. We get pictures with them, and I just like, as I'm like walking away, I'm like, God, which is stupid. I should have been like, guys, I want to say something for just a minute. Like, I have this time, just let me say it. And again, like, because I want to express it, not for them. And I know that's selfish in a way, but just like real fast. But I was just like kind of, I'm walking away, and I was like, guys, just want you to know, like, I met you when I was 15 or 16, and then you told me to do whatever I wanted. You told me to go after my dreams and to do what I wanted to do. And I am doing what I want to do. I'm making my 9th album. It's almost done. Like, I finished my 9th album. It's just being mixed, and I just want to let you know, like, you changed my life, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys. And they were like, thanks. Oh, thanks, man. And that was that. I mean, then I left, came back. We was in line. I went out to a car and smoked a hit of weed, and then I felt like really good, and then I felt like, dude, he was still fucking working his ass off. And like he's still fucking making this awesome art. Like I got a personal poster, like a poster that he made, like they signed it, and like it was tubular. It's fucking awesome. And I go out, take a hit of weed, and I'm just like processing this, like, and they are sounding great. Like their sound check sounds great, so I know it's gonna be a great show. I'm like, oh dude, they are fucking on fire. Like this is the shit. They sound fucking amazing. And I'm waiting in line with Holly, and I see my mom. My mom comes out, and I'm like, Mom, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited I met them. Thank you so much. This is the best. And like my bitchy attitude's changing. I'm like so excited about that. Like it's just like taking mushrooms or taking a shower. Like you have to do it. Keep doing it. I mean, those aren't the same thing, but like you can't just be like, oh, I took a shower, never gonna have to take a shower again. Like, no, you have to keep taking showers. You're gonna start smelling again. So starting to smell metaphorically and my attitude, and it was really cool to just see them and see that Wayne Coyne was like still the same guy, and he was like being just super kind to everyone, super nice, and like just made me like, I just hope like, you know, I'm sure there's 16-year-olds all over the world that like get inspired by musicians, and it's so cool that that's just happening. And it's like this, again, Ouroboros, cyclical, snake eating its own tail, energy that's sustained by the energy that creates itself. It's like a paradox, but it's there, and it's like, it's just always happening. It's this it's a loop that's always happening. People are always getting baptized in rock and roll, as cheesy as that sounds. But there's always going to be 14-year-old kids with no bitterness, with no sense of anger, that are going to listen to Chuck Berry, and their life's going to fucking change. And they're going to listen to Little Richard, and their life's going to fucking change. And they're going to listen to the Flaming Lips, and their life's going to fucking change. And their perspective on life's going to change, because we're input-output systems, and like, you don't know what you don't know, and until you learn information or let new information in, like that's how you change and grow, and you alter your path and steer your ship, and that's the only thing you know. And like for me, the Flaming Lips, you know, really opened up the doors into a life of positivity and a possibility that like art didn't have to be this depressed, nobody understands me, I hate the world. It could be this, oh my god, it sucks that we die one day. It sucks in a way that we die, but like we die because we're alive, and like let's do this, let's fucking make something out of this, let's have experiences, and let's make the most of this world, and let's be like the fucking Boy Scouts, leave the world better than we found it. You know, just like you're supposed to leave your campsite better than you found it, like leave the world better than you found it. And that's why it hurts me so much when I think about sending a text to my girlfriend that's supposed to be to my ex with a smiley face, and then lying and saying it was my drug dealer. That's why it hurts when I think about these like lying times and deceit, because it's not who I want to be. It's not the person that I want to be. Like I don't like that I did that stuff. And it's not just that I could kiss someone and continue dating someone for months afterwards, even though I made out with someone, and I took my shirt off, she didn't take her shirt off, but just that I got to that point where I was that close to doing that is not who I want to be. And like there's this quote, and I don't know what it is, but it's super cheesy, I guess. But it's like, you don't want to swim so far out that you can't swim back. And I haven't swum so far out that I can't swim back. I know I can. I know I can make it back. And like that's what I want to do, because like I want to hurt people, and I don't want to lie, and I want to be deceitful. And I am like a romantic, like I love this world, and I love art. And it makes me fucking hard as shit to fucking be able to make art and to like be able to be in this era where art is everywhere. And it's just everywhere, in your phone, on your computer, like it's just everywhere, on your walls. Like art is just like, it's just oozing, and we have that ability in America to do that and to have the time it takes to develop as an artist, you know. And the Flaming Lips brought a new perspective in life that I hadn't had before. That wasn't Mormonism. That wasn't depressing Kurt Cobain style rock and roll. Kurt Cobain, Tom York style paranoid, depressed rock and roll. This was exuberant, celebratory rock and roll. And that's why I always loved the Flaming Lips. And I have no idea who I would be if I didn't go see them open for Beck after getting into Beck, because my brother was into Beck because he was older and I was just a kid. This might be... I used to think I was so ugly that like when people would look at me, I'd be like, that's so nice that they're looking at me. Like, it must be hard to look at me, but it's really nice that they're like pushing past it. I mean, that's pretty sad to think that I used to think that way. That's not cool. But I heard this song, and I guess it might be cheesy to have this be the song I play, but do you realize this is one of the best songs ever? And when I was a kid, when I got into the Flaming Lips, this song like made me just have more confidence in my face. And that's an awesome thing. Do you realize that you have the most beautiful face? Do you realize someday will die. And instead of saying all of your goodbye, let them know you realize, life goes fast. It's hard to make the good things last. You realize the sun doesn't go down. It's just an illusion caused by the world spinning round. Do you realize, you have the most beautiful face? Do you realize? Maybe I'll do one more. I didn't do that one. I mean, hating. Oh, no. Thanks, my I have a cold right now. Thanks. You did a good job, man. Thanks, I haven't got a cold. I don't want to be that guy right now. I did my best. Flaming Lips chords. Let's do one more song on these people. On these beautiful folks. Hey man, you did a good job. Thanks, man. Fuck. I didn't blow. Shut up. Shut up. I know what song to do. Thought I was smart, thought I was right, thought it better not to fight. I thought there was a virtue in always being cool. When it came time to fight, I thought I'd just step aside and let the time prove you wrong, and that you would be the fool. The sunbeams in and when the starlights begin, it's all a mystery. Oh, to fight is to defend. If it's found out, then tell me when would be the time to prove me wrong. It's to stand up and be a man. For to lose I could accept, but to surrender I just wept and regretted this moment. Oh, that I was a fool. With the sunbeams in or when the starlights begin, it's all a mystery. And I don't know how a man decides what's right for his own life. It's all a mystery. Cause I'm a man, not a boy, and there are things you can't avoid. You have to face them when you're not prepared to face them. If I could, I would, but you're with him now, I do no good. Now I'm lost. I should have fought him, but instead I let him. Let him take you, and I don't know where the sun begins or where the starlights begin. It's all a mystery. And I don't know how a man decides decides what's right for his own life. It's all a mystery. Well, I don't know where the sun beams in or where the starlights begin. It's all a mystery. And I don't know how a man decides what's right for his own life. It's all a mystery. It's all a mystery. I'm a man, not a boy. Things you can't avoid. I'm a man, not a boy. There are things you can't avoid. You have to face them when you're not prepared to face them. To lose I could accept, but to surrender I just wept and regretted this moment. Take up from me. We train hard for the mission. Inside our spaceship, we train hard for the mission. All flowing over. Though we're in zero gravity, it pulled us closer. We were once off to the planets. Inside our spacesuits. Now I'm left here on the landing. The rocket's flame boost, and it's leaving without me as you go up to the me singing tonight. Under the stars you wait, under the clouds you wait alone. Okay, wow, I was not expecting the podcast to be 5 hours long. That is so long. This is by far the longest one. But I guess I had a lot to say about the Flaming Lips, because that's been a lifelong passion. I've been a lifelong fan of theirs. But that's just so crazy when I cut them all together. And so this is a little video at the end because there was a couple things I wanted to talk about, because I was talking about how I was like, oh, it's a cool story about me going and seeing the Flaming Lips the most recent time in Oakland. I was like, it's a cool story. And then I was like, I didn't tell what the story was. Like, I was so depressed. I was so bummed. Then I get to meet the Flaming Lips, which is awesome. I get to go watch their sound check, which is awesome. And yeah, because my mom bought me the VIP ticket. That was like my birthday present for was seeing the Flaming Lips, and she bought me the VIP ticket. So I'm like, I mean, this album, I've been working on it for 4 years. I know I'm harping on it a lot, but like it's been the hardest thing in the world to make, and it's just a huge project. It's a huge project, and so I have a lot of emotions and a lot of things happening, and there's times where I feel really beaten and down and tired, and
I was feeling like that. I was feeling just, like I explained it to my sister, and there was other things going on too, like there's just a lot going on right then, and it really felt like I was just getting pulled apart, like, you know, like a rope was tied to all my different limbs, and these horses were just going, and I just felt like I was getting pulled apart, and I wasn't at my center. And I go to the Flaming Lips thing, and I see them, and I just see how they're at their center, and they're always rocking, and they're always rolling, and they're always fucking staying true to who they are. And I'm sure they have struggles, but I'm just saying, like, it reminded me of, like, oh, this is why I got into music. I didn't get into music to fucking turn the guitar up 2 dBs and turn the guitar down 2 dBs. I mean, that's a part of it now, but, like, getting all that stuff together. But that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to fucking rock and make music. And so that's, seeing the Flaming Lips was like a reminder of that, and it was just so cool. But also on top of that, so I'm depressed and kind of going through all this stuff, and I'm seeing them, but it's not like just this auto conversion thing where, you know, it's not just this auto conversion where all of a sudden at the show, and I mean, it's like this gradual thing, and I'm feeling like my heart thawing. I'm feeling like my depression and my heart thawing, and just my complete lack of gratitude really being apparent, and it coming to a forefront, and just being like, dude, you're being such a cunt. So I'm in line, and this, right before I meet the Flaming Lips, and this lady Holly is like, hey, I'm Holly, and she starts talking to me, and I'm feeling just so shy. Sometimes I'm not super shy, but sometimes I am. And she's just being super friendly and asking me where I'm from, and we're talking about this, you know, how many times we've seen the Flaming Lips and different stories and stuff like that. And she's like talking about how she's in part of this group called the Pit, and they all travel around kind of like Deadheads, you know, and they travel around and see the Flaming Lips. And it was just really fucking cool to have her do that and be so nice, and it was a time when, you know, you're feeling very introverted, and then someone comes in and is like a kind stranger to you, and it's very, they're a kind stranger to you, and it makes you, just softens you up a little bit. And it was a cool thing, man, because I mean, I just sometimes I get like Kanye West, and I'm like so like caught up in my own narrative, and then obviously this podcast kind of is very narcissistic in a lot of ways, but more so than normal, you know, and that was what was going on, and I just felt like so, like, but it changed my life, that concert did. It really did. And just seeing Wayne Coyne still kicking ass, and seeing them all working hard, and just seeing that it doesn't ever have to end as long as you work hard. And then to have Holly, and then to have this lady just come and be really nice was just super cool. And so it was just super cool. So I go and I put, because we got like a signed poster, so I go put that back. I run into my mom because she didn't go backstage. She got like a different ticket. And I was just like, thank you so much. This is awesome. I run back to the car. I take a hit of weed. And I'm just like, and weed's just something I need. I realize weed just helps me with gratitude, and I need to just make sure I always have it. And I know that sounds like pathetic or whatever, and maybe I'm caught in a pleasure trap, but like for me, when I don't smoke weed, it just reminds me of who I was before, which is like this pent up angry guy. And it really relaxes me. Weed, first time I smoked weed, it was like one of the first moments of reprievement of like depression and anxiety, and it helps me with my gratitude. And what is life but progress and gratitude, and finding out how to do those both? And took this hit and just like just fucking realize how fucking like, I'm gonna play another Flaming Lips song, but like you realize how fucking ego tripping you are, you know? Actually, you know, I already have a version of that song recorded. I'm just gonna put it at the end of it. If you think of the time that you waste, like, the time that you waste fucking being such a cunt. You know, when like you're the adult and you just like not see what's in front of your face. Like every day that you wake up is a blessing. And I don't care how cheesy that sounds. It's so true. Or how Tony Robbins-ish that sounds. Like every day's a fucking blessing and a chance to like turn it all around. And it sucks, man, when you have depression and anxiety and like when you're just caught in a fog. You can't see anything but your own desires. And you turn into like this golem. And I hate those moments, but seeing the Flaming Lips, my mom giving me that charity of, you're about to meet your heroes again. My mom just giving me such an awesome birthday present. And then to meet them and see them and hear their songs and to hear them sound check Race for the Prize and just like think about how it's just transporting me back to like when I was 15 and not a cunt. I was cunty in ways, but it was like, it wasn't cunty in the way of like, ugh, I deserve this or this and that. And I just get caught up in that shit sometimes. And it's hard because sometimes I feel like that's what I need to do to like progress, but it's not the right attitude. It's not who I am. It's not who I want to be. It's like I have that capacity to have vapid, meaningless sex and to be like an asshole like Donald Trump, but it's not who I am. And those aren't the wolves that I want to feed. Those aren't the parts of my life I want to cultivate. It's taking that hit, just so eye-opening to be like, you're not even paying attention, like at all. You're 31. You haven't paid attention at all. You're taking for granted all your girlfriends. You take it for granted all these things and this ambition to make more music and to make more albums. You've missed out on your entire life by not being present. You're only eating meals thinking about your next meal. Every bite thinking about your next bite. It's a golem. It's greed. And it's not who I want to be. It's not who I want to be. I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that. It is such a part of who I am, and I have to fight it and combat it because it's not who I want to be at all. And so it was cool to take that hit and to just have that wake-up call after seeing them sound check and after meeting her and meeting them and saying thank you for being the Flaming Lips and for being so inspiring and encouraging. And I was so nervous too. I was like so shy. I wish I would have been like confident, just shook their hand and like thank you. I was like said as like I was walking. I was just so nervous and shy. I was so full of shit that day until I took that hit. And that's why marijuana is so beautiful. Sometimes it's, drugs, they can. I mean, marijuana and mushrooms at least can really be eye-opening. So I went back and gave my mom the keys because I brought them to go take the thing and said thank you again. And this time I was really present. And I came back and I was like really present. And I had to like the guy that worked at the parking garage we were parked at, like obviously was just like skimming money off the top from the concert. But like we still paid him and stuff. And so I run back, I give the keys, and I'm feeling way better. And I say thank you. And then I'm standing in line with Holly, and I think she introduced me to a couple people. And then I go in and I'm still like, I'm not with Holly, and we're separated, and I'm at the front line of the venue, the show's playing, I'm right by the stage, and I'm just standing alone, and I'm still just like kind of in I'm kind of just still in shy mode or whatever. But then this dude named Sid, this Indian guy, just looks at me and he's like, have you ever been to the Flaming Lips before? I was like, yeah, man, I've been a bunch. He's like, oh, dude, this is my first time. Like, I just had to come. Like, I've seen pictures and stuff, and like I just knew I had to come. Like, you know, I'm a big fan, and I've seen it, and I had to come, and I'm so excited. And then we just never stopped. Like, basically, we just never stopped talking. And he's like, you know, we're asking me what I do, and I was like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm an Indian guy in California at the Bay. What do you think I do? I'm in tech. I'm like, oh, that's really funny. And we just talked and got along, and it was just cool. And it was like, after the first song, he just like turned around and hugged me, and it was just so cool to like, there's that quote in Waking Life. Oh, it's so good. You know, the Richard Linklater movie, but it's like those breakthroughs, those moments of, I'm not even gonna try. I am gonna try. I'm gonna put on Waking Life right now. I'm gonna put on the clip from Waking Life that I'm talking about.
An external process,
Because I'm probably not gonna get flagged if I only show a little bit of this.
Perfection. It seems to come out of a striving and a frustration. And this is where I think language came from. I mean, it came from our desire to transcend our isolation and have some sort of connection with one another. And it had to be easy when it was just simple survival, like, you know, water. We came up with a sound for that. Or saber-tooth tiger right behind you. We came up with a sound for that. But when it gets really interesting, I think, is when we use that same system of symbols to communicate all the abstract and intangible things that we're experiencing. What is like frustration? Or what is anger or love? When I say love, the sound comes out of my mouth and it hits the other person's ear, travels through this
Will make sense.
Byzantine conduit in their brain, you know, through their memories of love or lack of love. And they register what I'm saying and they say, yes, they understand. But how do I know they understand? Because words are inert. They're just symbols. They're dead, you know? And so much of our experience is intangible. So much of what we perceive cannot be expressed. It's unspeakable. And yet, you know, when we communicate with one another and we feel that we have connected and we think that we're understood, I think we have a feeling of almost spiritual communion. And that feeling might be transient, but I think it's what we live for.
So that was said 1,000 times better than I was going to say it. A bazillion times better than I was going to say it. But music was like that. And this guy who had never seen The Flame Lip before, but I'm having the same experience, you know. I'm having like this guy, like, you may have never had sex before, but if you hadn't had sex in 10 years, then it's still going to be this visceral, exciting, and awesome experience. So when he turned around and hugged me after the first song, it was just like, you could see that we transcended in the song and the art and the concert, and just the moment was transcended of these symbols like the lady was just talking about. And we had this moment of connection. It was just really cool to like, he was just a really cool guy. And he hugged me a bunch, we talked a bunch, and we follow each other on Instagram, and we like each other's stuff now, and we're friends. The same with Holly. And that was to me why it was cool. It's just really, you know, finishing this album and finishing this project I've been working on for 10 years and sort of being a little bit confused about what to do with my life, or, you know, and what to do is just to make another project and make more stuff as far as that goes, but also, you know, not have goal blindness. And, you know, like Todd Berry has this joke where he's like, you know what your first goal should be? Stop having so many goals. He was just talking about like intense people. what was I talking about? Yeah, so I'm good. It's just kind of like a weird kind of like, whoa, what's going on? You know, I'm finishing Cave Paint. I've been working on this thing for 10 years, and now I want to make different kinds of music, more like pop, electronic type of music, and R&B music and stuff. And Cave Paint's really a lot of like Americana, folk, rock influence. It's why, you know, now I want to try new things and do new things. And I always did that within Cave Paint too. Every album's different. I did that within Cave Paint in the sense that all the albums are different inside Cave Paint too. But you know, now I want to make a different thing, but there's very thematic too. Cave Paint's a very thematic 9-album song cycle. It's very thematic. So you know, it's a story about, which is my story, which is the story of the last 10 years of a love addict becoming a love avoidant, hopefully now becoming someone that's stable. Stable and able to love, and love in a healthy way that's not possessive and not obsessive, but is passionate and beautiful. You know, because I was a love addict, and then I became a love avoidant, and just had vapid, meaningless sex for years, and I thought that that would make me happy, and I read the game, and got laid a bunch for a year, and then I stopped doing the stuff in the game because I didn't want to do that, and I still get laid, not as much, but the last girl I had sex with, the last girl I slept with was so, she had like no moral character. She was a liar. So I stopped having sex with her. I just stopped texting her back because she realized, like, dude, it's not worth it. I don't care if she's fucking hot. I don't care what she looks like. And she was hot, super hot, and she's good at having sex. But it's like, I always think of that Hayden Quinn, is that his name? I don't know. That Quinn actor guy. He had some quote in a movie where, oh, I know exactly what movie it is. Don't swim so far out you can't swim back. And it was just kind of a moment. I was just like, fuck this bitch, dude. Fuck her. Don't get the fuck away. I mean, she wasn't really rude to me or anything, but she just did so much that I saw her character. What does that say about me if I spend time with people who have no character just to get laid? That doesn't say good things about me at all, and I don't want to be that way again. It's like, I don't want to be certain ways, and it doesn't mean I'm not going to make mistakes, but it does mean that I can fucking not do that shit and get away from it. And so what the fuck was this about? Just, yeah, fuck. Oh yeah, the story of the Cave Paint. You know, it is. It's the Cave Paint story. It's just love avoidance, or love addiction to love avoidance to hopefully mature love. At the end of it, volume 3 of the 9th album, I think, is like the most mature spiritually and emotionally and intellectually I've ever been in a state artistically. And it's like my higher self. I mean, it's not higher self, and I don't mean that in an arrogant way, but like, it's the me that knows what's right, and so it's cool to like have those songs there. They'll be there as reminders of who it is that I want to be for when I get off the track. In the same way that, you know, Superman and Batman and the Flaming Lips and all these heroes and all these stories are there to remind us and to help us get back on the track. Let's close with the Joseph Campbell quote. Let's close with Joseph Campbell. I I should do. How do I not have a I Love Joseph Campbell episode? I'll do that later. I'll just do a whole episode about him. Because, I mean, I do. He's changed my life as much as anyone. For sure. So that's interesting to think about. So here's this really cool quote. And I love that idea that, you know, the story of humanity and the stories that we tell, and these 6 main stories that we always keep telling, are because they're the stories we chose through evolution. They're the attributes of human beings that we admired the most, and through that admiration cultivated and created the stories, because they are the ones that became the hero through our love of those attributes. Like, it's like a totally organic thing. Like, it just happens so organically. Like, Superman is the archetype so organically. This is the Joseph Campbell intro music. Buy all this stuff, get all this stuff. He's incredible. I mean, he will set you and made you realize that you're on a hero's journey, and that we all are, everyone is on the earth. And you're either answering the call to action or denying it.
And so Galahad decided it would be a disgrace to set off on the quest with the other knights. Alone he would enter the dark forest, where there was no path. In the story of Galahad is the myth of the hero's journey. How does it speak to our lives? What myths are we living today?
That's not Joseph Campbell talking.
Now there was a moment in Jung's life when he realized what it meant to live with a mythology and what it meant to live without one. And he asked himself by what mythology he was living, and he found he didn't know. And so he said, I made it the task of tasks of my life to find by what mythology I was living. Well, how did he...
What does it mean to live by a mythology? And why is it important? This man, Joseph Campbell, has spent a lifetime finding answers to these questions.
Now, if you can find that point, you can find an initial point for beginning your own reconstruction.
Throughout his career as teacher and writer, Campbell has been challenged by a persistent misunderstanding over the very meaning of the word myth. A misunderstanding he confronted most recently in a radio interview.
The red light goes on, and he starts out with this popular idea. He says, myth is a lie. A myth is a lie, isn't it? I said, no. You must talk about a mythology, a whole mythology by which people live. Of course, that was out the window already. It's a lie. It's a metaphor. It's a lie. About 5 minutes to go, I realize this young man does not know what a metaphor is. So I felt I could be tough too. You know, I have him now in a hammerlock, you might say, and he's not going to get out. Said, no, I'm telling you, myths are metaphors. Give me an example of a metaphor. You give me an example, he says. I taught school for 38 years. I said, no, I'm asking the question this time. Give me an example of a metaphor. Well, the poor man fell apart. I mean, I felt ashamed. You don't do anything like this to people. Nietzsche has a saying in, I think it's Zarathustra or the Will to Power one, the pale criminal, the one who has the courage of the knife, but not of the blood. And I had no courage to face what I had done to this young man on his show, live to his public. The show was in his name. So he fell apart, and then he said, I don't know what to do. Wait a minute. Then he says, finally, and we now have around a minute and a half or 2 minutes to go. Comes up from the floor, says, I'll try. This so-and-so runs very fast. People say he runs like a deer. I said, that's not the
Simile.
metaphor.
It's a simile.
Tick, tick, tick goes the clock. The metaphor is so-and-so is a deer. That's a lie, he said. That's a metaphor, I said. That's the end of the show. And that got into me. It is so simple. Do you believe in God? God is a metaphor for a mystery that absolutely transcends all human categories of thought. Even the categories of being and non-being. Those are categories of thought. I mean, it's as simple as that. So it depends on how much you want to think about it. Whether it's doing you any good. Whether it is putting you in touch with the mystery that's the ground of your own being. If it isn't, well, it's a lie. So half of the people in the world are religious people who think that their metaphors are facts. Those are what we call theists. The other half are people who know that the metaphors are not facts, and so they're lies. Those are the atheists.
Now in his
So
80s,
cool.
Campbell is being honored for the impact of his
So
art.
cool. Jeez, that wasn't what I was looking for, but here it is. I know it's kind of getting around you louder, but this is what I was looking
Follow
for.
your. Well, I always tell my students, follow your bliss.
Follow your bliss?
Your bliss, where the deep sense of being in form and going where your body and the soul want to go. When you have that feeling, then stay with it and don't let anyone. Well, I always tell my students, follow your bliss.
Follow your bliss?
Your bliss, where the deep sense of being in form and going where your body and the soul want to go. When you have that feeling, then stay with it and don't let anyone throw you off. Have you ever read Sinclair Lewis's Babbitt?
Not in a long time.
Do you remember the last line? I've never done a thing I wanted to in all my life.
Why do I
That's
miss
the man who never followed his bliss. Well, I heard that line. I was living in Brownsville when I was teaching at Sarah Lawrence. Before I was married, I used to be eating out in the restaurants of the town for my lunch and dinners. And Thursday night was the maid's night off in Brownsville, so that all the families were out in the restaurants. And one fine evening, I was in my favorite restaurant there. It was a Greek restaurant. And at a table was sitting a father, a mother, and a scrawny little boy, about 12 years old. The father says to the boy, drink your tomato juice. And the boy says, I don't want to. And the father, with a louder voice, says, drink your tomato juice. And the mother says, don't make him do what he doesn't want to do. Father looks at her and he says, he can't go through life doing what he wants to do. Said, if he does only what he wants to do, he'll be dead. Look at me. I've never done the thing I wanted to in all my life. I said, my God. Babbitt incarnate. And that's the man who never followed his bliss. Well, you may have a success in life, but then just think of it. What kind of life was it? What good is it? You've never done the thing you wanted to in all your life.
What happens when you follow your bliss?
You come to bliss in Sanskrit, which is the great spiritual language of the world, and they know all about it and have known about it for a long time. The transcendent is transcendent. But there are three terms that bring you to the brink. You might say the jumping off place to the ocean. And the three terms are Sat, Chit, Ananda. And Sat, the word Sat means being. Chit means full consciousness. And Ananda means rapture. So I thought, I don't know whether my consciousness is full consciousness or not. I don't know whether my being is proper being or not, but I do know where my rapture is. So let me hang on to rapture, and that'll bring me both being and full consciousness.
Shall see it together.
We have not even to risk the adventure alone, for the heroes of all time have gone before us. the labyrinth is thoroughly known. We have only to follow the thread of the hero path. And where we had thought to find an abomination, we shall find a god. And where we had thought to slay another, we shall slay ourselves. Where we had thought to travel outward, we shall come to the center of our own existence. And where we had thought to be alone, we shall be with all the world.
Thanks for listening to the Hear Here podcast. I love the Flaming Lips. All right, there we go. Long episode. Thank you very much. Have a great one.